to Pro31 Speaks. We're talking about gardening, and we've moved on from how to select seeds out of a catalog and how you should organize just the beginnings to how you're going to set up the plants themselves. Now, when we begin, we're going to hope that you've already gone out and gotten a couple of catalogs. And I'm going to tell you, you're going to be overwhelmed. But if you thought you were going to get plants in just a moment, I'm going to have to tell you to hang up the phone. Okay, that being said, you should know how old I am. When was the last time you could hang up a phone? Most likely never. All right, so hold the phone. You should have picked tomatoes, maybe cucumbers, peppers, carrots, onions, artichokes. I don't know. They're delicious, but I don't know that you can grow them first off. But you can if you have enough fortitude. Potatoes, it's not a bad idea, but we'll get to that. If you pick potatoes, you're going to have some space. Or a very deep container, which is also okay. I know you can do it. Because today I really want to talk about a bit of the seed containers. But we're not even there yet. Let's just talk about the seeds. Most likely tomatoes, cucumbers, zucchinis. And we want to plant those seeds ahead of time because we will transfer them out into the garden or the container that you have chosen. Now, you say, Cindy, how do I choose that container? I'm here for you. Well, I'm not here for you. I'm here mostly for my husband and kids. But I'm here for you. All right, my friends, let's talk about the different containers you'll need. Let's say you got really ambitious and you decided to plant a very large container garden. Okay? What you'll need are some very simple pieces. I'll go through it with you. You'll need the compound that they will initially grow in, which is a good potting soil is truly fine, and you can find that anywhere, even at the Be Quick, 7-Eleven. Yeah, I said those places. When they start having those bags of dirt outside, a supermarket, oh my gosh, those hardware stores that are gigantic box ones. You can find dirt almost anywhere, including your local nursery. But let's try to keep it small and doable because we all want to be successful. And I don't mean that you're going to be wearing suits and making six figures, but we want to be successful in the garden. And I'm here to help you there. You want to have a glove. If you have nitrate gloves, that's great. But don't run out and get them if you don't happen to have them, or non-latex gloves. If you have a garden glove or a work glove, that'll do fine too. If not, you will wash your hands a lot because you don't want to touch your face and you don't want to actually pick at your mouth or your nose. Don't do that. I'm like your mother. You'll want to be able to put the dirt somewhere, and I've got some really neat ideas. If you do want to go out and spend like a lot of money, go ahead. But also, please, donate to me in my garden. If you don't have a lot of money, I know that this is also a great time to save toilet paper tubes and paper towel tubes. Now, I know that there's going to be someone who makes a comment and says, but they're full of things too. Not as many things. Because they don't have to treat this particular cardboard with much because they don't want you to save it forever. They want you to recycle it. You recycle. If you cut this in half with a pair of scissors, you just put some newspaper around it, close up the end, and stick it down inside any type of a container or even on a cookie sheet. Ask your mother if you're a kid, so help me God. If your mother leaves me a comment and says you rusted out her good cookie sheet, I will find you. All right. Nothing like a threat. Now, it just means I'll find you. It doesn't mean I'll come find you. All right. I happen to have like plastic dumbed things around the house. So if you have a bunch of plastic containers, that'll work too. We're going to put those little things down inside there. Notice I don't have something that would be like a bathroom drinking cup, you know, those little things you pop out. Well, that's because they're covered in wax. And these you can plunk right into the ground once the seedling has grown. Pretty cool, huh? It will decompose. The roots will be able to make it through the wet, then gooey thing. But I told you, wrap it in newspaper because this will degrade very quickly if you just use this and you don't cover it in newspaper and the dirt will fall out the hole. And I'll get crappy comments again. That's if you want to save a lot of money. And truly, it's actually kind of cool to have something completely compostable right in your garden. Oh my gosh, you became amazing in a matter of minutes. Let's say you have a little bit of leftovers from last year's thrill about planting all those flowers that you forgot to water. But with a garden, you're not going to forget because you want to eat. All right, maybe you have some of these 6-tray ones or 8-tray ones. These are fantastic because you'll be able, oh, I gotta stop making noise. You squeeze them and you push the dirty little pellet out with your seedling. Perfect size for when we're ready to plant. This is a nice size. I had to gauge. It's about a 3x3. I should look. It's a 3-inch pot. It says so on the bottom. It's a 3-inch pot. That's very good for, say, tomatoes. Something that will grow into a much larger plant that's then ready to put into the ground. All right, that's if you have some Monet. Another neat thing is you'll notice that there are peat pots that are 3-inch peat pots, 2-inch peat pots. And you put the dirt into the peat pot. That also biodegrades. It takes a little longer, but it certainly does the job. And peat doesn't necessarily add to the nutritional value of your soil, which then becomes the nutritional value of the vegetables that you eat. However, it does break down. It costs a little bit more money than, let's say, our tube. But you can do it if that's how you'd like to go. Instead of dealing with dirt, also, I'd like to point out that there's going to be little pellets that you find, bags of dirt pellets, and they're all dried out. They're mostly the peat. And you can throw them in there, and when you water them, leave them overnight, they expand with the dirt and the peat, and then, oh, look, like maybe you don't need the gloves, but wash your hands before you eat. All right, so I've got super ultra cheap that you better start saving right now because we're going to plant within the month our little seedlings. These, which means you were thinking ahead and then you found me. You like me. This is you've got too much cash on hand and this might fail and then you have to explain it to your husband why you spend so much on these. Lastly, maybe, just maybe, you saved some of these hanging pots that you don't hang a phone up with. They require a lot of soil, probably a half a bag of the 5-pound bag of potting soil. So, wow, what would you put in there? Something that stays relatively small. Strawberries, they hang over the edge. I wouldn't put potatoes in there. No, tomatoes grow too high. Even cherry tomatoes, that isn't going to do it for you. You have to think of what you're going to do. If you're in an apartment, that's okay too. Then you're going to do container gardening, and you're going to find pretty pots, and you're going to overspend, and I love you for that. But if you happen to have buckets and you don't use them, buckets work fine too, and these are closer to about $1.75 where I live. Right now, we're just talking about starting our seeds, sowing our seeds to begin the little plants. Lastly, but certainly not leastly, we use these boxes that we have put together. They're wooden boxes. We fill them with dirt. They stay about the right size of a plug, say, or the planter that your little seedlings would be in. Oh my gosh. We use those for lettuce because you scatter the seed with lettuce. If you don't have the beds outside already set and it's not warm, you're going to want to start them in a place that's more like you'd enjoy living in for the house temperature of, oh, I'm going to use Fahrenheit. I'm so sorry. Forgive me. Between 50 and 73 degrees inside your house. If it's 50, okay, Nanook. Also, you're going to need something besides your fingers, and maybe you'll want to use a spoon. Please note, you don't have to run out and buy more things. I'm trying to help you out here. Spoon from the kitchen, that size, that might be too big. This is better. This is called a tablespoon, or one might argue a soup spoon. I won't argue, that's not a soup spoon. Or even say this, your kids have one of these spoons sitting around. Or you are a kid, and this is your favorite spoon. But don't worry, it'll wash really well if you wash it well. Well, let's go on. So we know that we need gloves or something to protect our hands. You may even coat it in, let's say, a good hand cream. Keep them clean. Get all of your pots or containers and get them set up. Have you decided what you wanted for your vegetable? I hope so, because believe it or not, this is going to move very, very fast. One last thing. You're going to need a spot to set these seedlings, and I want you to consider walk around your house. But it's basically the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. So when the sun rises, stare at it and then turn only a quarter turn to your right. So if the sun rises over there, a quarter of a turn is there. And if you're handy in math, that's 90 degrees. That's the south. And it'll give you some heat. Now, what else do you need? I'm going to tell you what right now. The TV tray, if that's a counter in your kitchen, oh, you are solidly made. If not, try to find that place. Even if it's one of the small windows in your basement and you have to elevate some sturdy boxes and stand there and hold it. No, I'm kidding. You couldn't possibly hold it for the number of weeks you need. But you do need a south-facing window. But I am facing south and I'm getting enough light. You say, Cindy, you're so lucky. It isn't luck. It's a lot of hard work. This year we built a greenhouse. So don't be jealous. So this is where I'll work, but I don't want to have you get all jelly on me because we'll also be outside. Okay. Please get your seeds. I'm going to take a quick look inside Gurney's here with you, and we'll discuss a few of the seeds. So truly, in the world of videos, it won't even be a second because I'm going to splice it together. Let's look at some different varieties of seedlings you may consider when you're starting a brand new garden. Whether you plant into raised beds, direct sow into the ground, or you plan on doing a porch container garden. We're going to look at a couple of things and why you should or should not consider them. Once you open up your seed catalogs, you will be hungry. Do not look at seed catalogs when you are hungry. It's almost like going to the store. Ever go to the store hungry? You will buy pork rinds, Oreos, and a side of Jolt. Wait, Jolt, how old am I? Monster drink. That's what you'll do. Something insane you would never do. Okay, never. Less than never. Popcorn. We love corn. We love popcorn. Corn depletes the soil. What does that mean? It sucks the nutrients out. So if you can imagine Squidward when he was dehydrated. Yeah, that's kind of what it's like. Let's turn the page. This is a crowned vegetable, which means that the roots are like a crown, boop, but upside down. Boop. And you have to prepare specific soil, and you have to shape it a certain way in a long row, and then you can't pick it for about 2 years. You don't want asparagus yet, unless you've looked up how to deal with that. I'll show you our asparagus later in the year. But right now, avoid asparagus. Oh, yeah, everybody's favorite. Holy moly. The tomato. Oh, if only I could have a BLT right now, even without the B. I would love it. We want to look at exactly what type of seeds we may want, because they will turn into delicious tiny tomatoes. Oh, those cute little grape tomatoes. Early girls, those are fun. They promise an early yet smaller tomato. Boop, about that big. Better boy would be like big boy, but he's better. And oh my gosh, the girl's the best. Okay, see, these are totally not my thing, and I am gender neutral on the page. I can't help it. All of these were named by other people. Oh, now here. Did you want to sauce some of your tomatoes? Look at this. Easy sauce. And look at that. Hardly any seeds. You're not fighting with it. A ruby monster. That's nice, but I guarantee you, you will be supporting those tomatoes because, yikes and away, they're going to be big and heavy. The gardener's choice. Wow, that's a big tomato. But I don't know how big those hands are, really. I mean, it could be a small boy. What if they're only a 7-year-old boy and those are real tiny hands? We don't know. An easy slicing tomato. Maybe that's what you want. I have no idea. But as we look through these, you're going to be amazed and say, well, what do I pick? What do I pick? See, they're going to tell you that they're bursting with sweet flavor and they call it a jelly bean, but honest to God, if you think that's going to taste like a cherry jelly bean, step back. All right, here's a nice one. Has a huge yield all season. And that might make you think, oh my gosh, I'll be really good to go. but that's not a slicing tomato. That's a cherry-sized tomato. There's a lot to look at. And you're going to have to consider how many days until I get to eat it. So let's look here at the early girl. You have approximately 30 seeds in that packet. And with a germination rate that is not 100%, that means not all 30 seeds will grow. So you got to be careful. How many plants do I want? Do I really need 30? Do I need 100 tomatoes? No, you don't. That is in 52 days you can have a tomato. That's in perfect conditions, so I wouldn't get too angry. Let's just go over to the better boy, which is bigger. And he has approximately 30 seeds in that packet as well, but this takes 75 days. Are you willing to wait just about another 25 days? I don't know. Think about it, because that matters when you plant it into the ground. Here we have one right in between those two, and this is the little one again, but it's 25 seeds in a packet, 65 days. This one, cherry tomato, also 65 days. We've got that 20 seeds in a packet. Look over here, my friends. The price per packet remains the same, but they called it chocolate sprinkles. It does not taste like chocolate. It is very pretty, but there's only 10 seeds in a packet. All right, so you'll see fairly quickly, oh, what do I want to deal with? And you need to start deciding 65 days, 70 days, 75 days, 66 days for these tinies. You're going to want to start counting backwards. Normally, tomatoes are ripe and ready in August, and you have to count backwards from that. Add on top of it what we talked about the other day, the germination time for the seed. That can be between 7 and 14 days, depending on the type of seed. So it is a little bit of work on your calendar. It's not impossible, and we'll do that in another video when we're planting our seeds. Let's turn the page. Holy moly! In these garden magazines, they will have you understand, oh, well, there's the end rot at the end of the tomato. So if you sprinkle this stuff on it, it'll save your tomato. We'll talk about organic ways to do that later. The red, once the sunlight hits this, it reflects red up into your plants, which is a better growing light. Okay, they will try to sell you a lot of things. Okay, quick tie, Velcro ropes, pellet calcium. There's a lot of things you can do without buying the extras. I'm just going to let you know, but I won't say it. Don't do it. Here's just a general idea. If you wanted a container, they even have these nice 15-gallon containers. Once you think that you're going to put something in this size of a container, remember the amount of dirt that you're going to need just for the container, which is not necessarily the amount of dirt you would need for one plant if you were doing a raised bed. Just consider how much 15 gallons of dirt will cost you. I'm not saying don't do it, I'm just saying you need to consider it. Beautiful tomatoes. Again, a chocolate cherry tomato. They're talking about the color, not the flavor. All right, and these right here, look at that. Now, I wouldn't like it. It's not that I don't like the taste of the tomato, please don't get me wrong. But when they start coming in rainbow blends, well, here again, here's one of the things we talked about before, the heirloom rainbow blend. Heirloom. These are going to require a little bit more effort on your part to make sure that they're going to be good, clean. The area is very clean and safe. You water them well, you tie them up well, because they don't have all of the treatment and years that the other tomatoes have had, that they have either hybridized them or changed them as they mix the different pollen to the seed to make a more robust tomato plant. Okay, so these will take some effort. Now back down here, why I wouldn't pick these is because I myself, I never know when they're ripe, and then I end up with tomatoes that I'm like, oh, ugh, overripe, rotted. I missed it. Another great one are the peppers, but look at all the beautiful peppers. Again, don't come when you're hungry. Don't do it. Be careful of the heat in it. Read about how hot each one of these are. They will tell you if it's a hot pepper. Be aware. You can plant onions and leeks and garlic, but we plant them a little differently. We plant them in more of the box idea because they get scattered. And then once they begin, then you plant them as individuals in rows.
These are what are called direct sow root vegetables. So your radishes, kohlrabi, your carrots, and beets and parsnips. Those go directly into the ground. You often don't start them in an early seed packet, but you may. So we'll get to those. All right, I'm going to stop there because those are some of our most successful seeds and plants to transplant.
Thank you so much for coming out again today. I hope that you are excited and you're getting ready for the thrill of planting seedlings. I hope you have an excellent day. I'll see you soon. Bye. Take care. Be a pro.